Okay, dear students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the new chapter of Object-Oriented Programming course. After completing multi-threading, I hope you people had a very good time in attempting quiz from multi-threading. We now move to the next chapter, which is chapter number 21, I believe. Chapter number 21 in the complete reference book. This is chapter number 21, and the chapter title is Input Output Exploring Java.io. Now remember one thing, because we have now done basics of Java. I mean, you you are very well aware with the Java Java's control statement. You are very well aware with the Java's classes, methods, exception handling, multi-threading. So now learning any new thing in Java, you should feel self-sufficient. When I say you should feel self-sufficient, I mean you should be able to read it on your own. Nothing in Java now would seem alien to you. Remember, any new thing that you will be learning in Java, you will just be needing to learn some set of classes and corresponding methods. Right. So from here onward, we will be learning different libraries of Java, which are going to support different tasks. Remember, when I say library, I mean a package. You know what is package. You also know how to create your own package. But obviously there are certain tasks for which some predefined packages are available with JDK, with JRE. We will learn a few of them before the final exam. So one of those packages is Java.io package. As its name suggests, this is related to input output. There are just two broad things that you need to learn in Java.io. One is a file class, which we will be learning in this video, and the second is Java streams. Streams are used for input output, and file is obviously representing a directory on the machine or a file on the machine. Right. So Java.io is one fantastic representation of input output. I mean, before Java.io, managing IO was quite an old style. But when Java came in, Java actually made everything abstract. Java says, don't worry where the input is coming from or where you are sending input. You just tell me what device you want to get input from or what device you want to produce output at. I will provide you a corresponding class, and in that class you will have a lot of methods to play with for input output to that particular source. So remember, in Java all the sources for writing and reading, they are represented as a class. Like if you want to write on a file, we will have a file input stream, file output stream. Like if you want to read to console, we have got print stream. Like if you want to write on a different machine which is available on the network, you can use socket stream. Similarly, if you want to send something to the printer, you will have a printer output stream. So you know, all these resources which are there for input output, for all of them Java provides you a class. You just need to play with that class, and the good thing is the mechanism for all those classes is almost same. They will have some very common methods which you can use for performing input output. So before we go to input output, before we use Java streams, let us first discuss an important class which we will be using in a stream, and that class is file class. By the way, these all are the classes that you need to learn when you are working with Java.io. Buffer input stream, file writer, pipe input stream. Don't worry. All these classes you will be covering one by one. These are some of the interfaces which are very much important, like closable, file name filter, object input validation. All these things we'll be covering one by one. Now let us get a grip on file class. As I told you earlier, file class is an important class because you will be using it for input output. You usually write in a file whenever you are dealing with machines. You usually read from the file. So obviously file is the most important thing on the machine. Everything that you are writing that goes inside the file. So obviously representation of file is quite an important for any programming language. So Java provides you a class. The class name is file, and remember this is coming from java.io. Unlike the programs we have been doing so far, which actually come from java.lang, which is by default imported, but now those things which we will be using in our program, they will be coming from java.io. So certainly if you want to play with the file class, you need to import java.io. Now remember, when you want to create object of the file class, you have got these 4 constructors available to you. The first constructor is you can create file by providing path to the file. The second is you can have 2 string. The first string is path to the directory, and second is path to the file. I mean, this is the directory name and this is the file name. You need to understand that this is directory. C, IBA, teaching, sprint tutorial, code, week 2, this is directory. Now inside this directory, this is one file, this is other file, this is third file, this is fourth file. The extension for this file is class file, this is Java file, this is class file, this is Java file. So you know, you need to understand to differentiate between file and directory. Directory is actually the container, the folder in which that file is existing. Right, so you can provide here complete directory path along with file name, or you can keep both of them separate. You can provide directory path and then you can provide file name. Right, and then we have got third constructor which actually says you can have here a file reference which can be representing a directory, and then you can provide file name. And then you can also have a uniform resource identifier, URI. You will be using this when you will be doing Java networking, but you can provide URI in order to create a new file. Here are a couple of examples. If I say file f1 is equal to new file, and this you provide as a root, it means this is the directory, right? In Linux, this is the root directory. In Java, I mean in Windows, we really do not have any root, but then we have got C drive, D drive, E drive, whatever you call them, right? But here, if you are working on Linux, then this is the root directory. Root directory is the directory in which all other directories are kept inside Linux operating system. Right, so this is the first constructor that says create a file which points to the root directory. Then we have got second file which is pointing to auto execution.bat. This is the file name, and this file is inside this directory. So we are using second constructor. Right, then this is the third constructor that says we want to create a path to auto exec.bat. And this file is available in this directory, and that directory is represented by f1, where f1 is a reference to the previously created file. Right, so you can see we are using these 3 constructors. The first constructor with 1 string, second constructor with 2 string, and third constructor with 1 file and second string. Right, I think you will get more idea if I show you file in action. So let us create a file, let us understand it. I'm using NetBeans. Remember, when I'm recording these videos in office I have got NetBeans on my machine. When I'm at home, I have got IntelliJ at my laptop at the home. So here I'm using NetBeans, but you have got all freedom in the world. You can use NetBeans, you can use Eclipse, you can use IntelliJ, I mean whichever IDE you feel more comfortable with, right? Because so far we have been using Notepad and command line, but I think now we are mature enough, we have already developed enough skills for working with Java code. So probably now, because you are in the phase of your project development, so I would recommend that if you now switch to some IDE, that should be okay with you. Okay, so new project, I say Java project, and I'm saying Java application, right? Here is the name of the project. I call it IU streams, right? uh, okay, IO streams, right? So a new file has been created. It should not be taking a lot of time. I don't know why, but it is taking. Okay. Inside this IO streams, come on. NetBean usually does not take that much time, but it seems like today it will eat some of your internet package bits. Anyway, so you can also create new Java class, right? uh, when you create a new file, you will have this type of environment where IO stream the name of the package, your new file will be created, and there you will have main method, right? So say for example, I inside this project we want to create a new Java file, new Java class, so you can write here file demo, right? So you will have this file demo. Here I say public static void main string arg, okay, right? Now inside here I say file equal to new file, and I say I want to have file which should point to this directory, right? Now remember in Java, this backslash which Windows uses, you can see Windows uses backslash, right? But automatically NetBeans have converted this into double backslash, because you know that a backslash is reserved in Java. So if you use /n, it is for new line, which means that this backslash is reserved for Java for special purpose. So obviously you cannot use backslash which Windows is using. So automatically when you copy paste, NetBeans will convert this backslash into double backslash, right? So I say I want to point to this file, so I point to this file dot Java. Extension is important, right? Now by the way, you can see there is underline under file, because I have not imported java.io. Remember, file class is coming from java.io. File class is not available in java.lang, so you need to import it explicitly. So when you import it, import java.io dot file. I say import java.io dot file. You can see now this error has disappeared, right? Now here are some of the methods that you need to play with. Get name. When you get name, I say system system.out.println. I say file dot, you can see the list of method appears. I mean, this is something that you cannot do with the notepad, but the bad thing is, because you get used to it, you will not be able to understand Java syntax. So that is the reason why when I teach Java, I usually say for first 10-15 chapter you should be using notepad, so that you get used to the syntax of Java. Once if you have got used to Java syntax, then you can make your life easier by using some IDE. In my case, I'm using NetBeans, right? So we say get name. So this will actually return the name of the file or directory denoted by this abstract path name, right? This is just the last name in the path name sequence. If the path name sequence is empty, then empty string is returned, right? So in this case, obviously this will return name of the file rather than complete path. So this should return this, right? Let's run it. If you want to run it, you have got Shift F6, or you just click it. So when you run it, you can see this is the name of the file that appears, right? Similarly, after get name, we have get path, we have got get absolute path. All these are the methods that we can use. Get path file dot get path, right? So this will return you a string uh, into path name. So this will return you the complete path, right? And then this third method is get absolute path. Absolute path means the path which also includes the root, right? So get absolute path. So these two methods, you can see they'll give you path which is actually complete path to the file, and because this path is also the absolute path, that is the reason why the absolute path and path in this case will be same. Remember, the absolute path is the path in which you also include the root, right? The real difference between these two you will feel when you are using Linux, right? Okay, so get path and get absolute path, and then get parent. Get parent will do nothing, it will just return you the complete path except the file name. So I say get parent, get parent. So this will give you complete path except the file name. So you can see here up to week 2, this is not giving you the file name, so this is up to the parent. So the parent where this file is existing, right? Similarly, we have this exist method. Remember, when you are creating a file object, it is not mandatory that the file should be pre-existing. If that file is not existing, Java will create it, but if it is existing, then Java will create path to that file. In this case, we know that this file is existing, so this method will return you true, otherwise this method would have returned false, right? So this exist method will return true because this file is really existing. But if, say for example, I am going to create another path which is like this, in which I say txt. Now you know that this file 2 is not existing, so if you call this on file 2, this should not be existing. You can see here this is false, right? But remember, Java, when we will be using input output, you will see that even if file is not existing, if you want, you can create. Java will create it for you, right? Now, can we write, or is it read only? If we can write, then this should return true, otherwise this should return false. So I say file dot can write. If we can, then this will return true. In this case, yes, we can, right? We can, because this is not write protected. But if you make this file read only, you can see here inside security, if you can read, you can write, but if you edit, you say deny full control. Okay, now this file will be okay, right? Let's double check it. Properties, security, I have denied. No one can read it, no one can write in it. Let's check it. Now if I run it, what does it say? Let me check it. Okay, this is false. Can write should be increment operator.java, increment operator. Can write increment operator, yes. I think we should revisit it when we will be actually using input stream, output stream. But this method will return you if we can write in a file, right? Then we also have method can read. I think you got the idea. Is a directory. This will return you false if it is not a directory. In this case, you know that it is not a directory. It is a file, right? You know the difference between file and directory. Directory is a container for other files. File is just one file in which you can directly write. But when you have got directory, you cannot write directly in a directory. You will actually write in a file which will be inside the directory. So when I say is directory, this will return you true if it is directory, otherwise false. In this case, you know that this is not a directory, this is a file, so this will return false. This should return false. You can see this returns false. But say for example, I have this file 2 which is representing a directory. Now if I call this on file 2, you will see that this will be true because this is a directory. This is a directory, right? You know the is file, right? uh, Obviously if you call on file 2 is the file, this will be false, but if you call this on file 1, that should be true. You know that this will return is file. No, it is not, because it is a directory, so this should be false, whereas this should be true, right? Okay, so you can see here false and true, false and true, right? Okay, then we also have method is absolute. Is absolute, I mean, does it include the root? Does it also include the root? If it does, then it will be true, otherwise it will be false. So we say is absolute, is this an absolute path? If it is, then true, otherwise it is false. In this case it is true, because you know this includes root. In Windows, your drive is actually the root, right? Okay, last modified, as its name suggests, it will tell you when the file was last modified. Last modified, when the file was last modified. So this will tell you when the file was last modified. Y0 file dot last modified. What should file? Okay, file last modified should give you a proper date dot last. Okay, let's read what it returns. Last modified. Instance number, press control space. Last modified should be returning a proper date when this was last modified. When did you modify it last? If I is there, okay, I cannot, because all these properties are, all these access things are not available, so I say allow everything, right? I think now it should be able to get you information. Okay, run. Okay, so you can see we will learn how to convert this into date format, but it returns you when the method was last modified, right? If, say for example, I modify it now, right? This is just for showing last modification, right? I'm going to save it. So we modified it right now. So this value should be something lower. Increment operator, last date of modified 6/9/2020. Okay, but okay, let me check it. This value is still too big. We'll come back to see how to interpret this value, but this last modified will tell you when the file was last modified. If, say for example, I modify this file, right? I modified it right now. This is test operators. This is test operators. So here I say test operators dot java, right? Test operators dot java. Now if I get last modified on this file, I should have some value that should make sense. Last modified file 2. Okay, run it. Again, this shows you some value. We'll come back to see how to interpret it. Okay, then you have got the length. As its name suggests, it will tell you size of length of the file. Okay, control C, control V, file dot length. So size on the disk, this will tell you what is size on the disk, which is 342 bytes. So you can, and this should be 342 bytes. These are the number of characters, I mean in terms of number of characters which are available in the file. If you see length of file 2, these are 665. These are actually number of characters which we have inside that file. You will see that the second file, which is file 2, is actually pointing to test operator. If you open test operator, the number of characters in this should be, do we have any counter? But these are actually number of characters, which are 342. If I control C and if I put this in Word, I want to ask Word to give me character count. These are actually number of characters. So if control C, the number of characters should be, these are 83 words. Review, character count, word count. Okay, this will tell you. Character with no with space 597. 500 characters with spaces 597. 597. I think there are some special characters which Word is unable to count, like these. I mean new lines, all these things, right? When we will read Java input stream, you will see that this is also a character. New line, new line, new line, new line, new line. These are characters which Word is not considering. Even this is a character. So you will see that when we will use Java input stream, here you can see the count that Word is giving, it is 597, but the count that we actually have in Java for the file 2 is 665, because there are special characters which Word is not counting, like new line, like backspace. So these characters obviously Windows or Word is not counting, but you will see when you will be reading Java IU, even this new line can also be read, right? Okay, then we have more methods. The length method. There are many other methods in file class: delete on exit, get free space, get total space. I mean, against each of these methods you've got this description. Obviously I cannot go through each and every method. We have covered few of those. Remaining, whenever you need, you just need to read its description. As I told you earlier, I won't be always feeding you the fish. I will actually teach you how to catch a fish. So the right way of learning Java is to have an expertise on those basics of Java, up to classes, inheritance, polymorphism, exception handling, and multi-threading, and then everything is automatic. You need to learn Java.io. There are just set of classes and corresponding methods. You learn them, you will know Java.io. You want Java networking, there are some socket classes, some strings associated with socket. You learn them, you'll be able to understand it. You want Java server programming, there are Java server pages, there are servlets, they are nothing, just a set of classes and methods, right? So remember, you have already the skeleton available with you. You just need to fill the gaps. You just need to learn new API, means learning couple of classes and files, right? Okay, so we have seen so far the methods and file class which are related to file. I end this video here, and when I come back we will be discussing methods which are related to directory, right? Thank you very much.